Hi everybody, I'm that girl goddess. Um I just put my hair in the bun and finna get ready to do me a facial today. Um I'm on here to talk about the food stamp crisis. Um I've been seeing a lot of TikToks and people bragging about how much they was getting and how much food they was buying and they never had jobs. And trust me, I had a lot of few adopted relatives who never had a job and lived off public assistance and had every scam going. And from the time when I started having children, got married early, men are not always consistent, especially when you marry a man of color. I'm going to say through my own experience. Well, I can't say because he considered himself African American. Okay. It was hard for me because we mix cultures. um Dealing with the food stamp crisis, I went to apply and I always worked. I worked as a teenager. I had a good job, graduated, had scholarships, was always on straight A student. I never had a desire to be on public assistance, regardless of what was going on in my family, the neighborhood, the culture. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say as an Indian woman, they look down on public assistance. Okay. I don't know how they do it here in America about a lot of stuff. I know when, you know, Indian immigrants come over here, migrants or whatever, and they get on public, well, they come over here and they have a little small nest egg, most of them, and they get into the business and decide to make America their home. The one thing they discourage is, and this is a big thing with a lot of Indians, something for nothing. As a small child, I mean, somebody can come over and give you something little like, a adult be like, oh, here a couple dollars, you're so cute. They used to do that back in the day, okay? And the first thing they'll say, you'll see all the other parents don't say nothing to their children, but the first thing they tell you is give it back because they may want something in return. It's no such thing as something for nothing. And they'll discourage you right there. And I think a lot of problem is people seeing generations, because even being in neighborhood, and I can't say I came from a low impoverished ghetto neighborhood in the beginning because I had relatives, and when I go over to their house, okay, it was what it was. But I was a child. I wasn't looking at those things. But at the same time, what I seen was a lot of people going with system babies. It was like the mama was on the system, the children, the daughter was on the system, her sons. And they used to have a system called general assistance then. And these people never had jobs. And they lived off of subsidized housing. They had everything. And I always used to wonder, like, okay, well, because I was always taught, look, there's no such thing as something for nothing. You come in, you do a good quality day of work, you get your money, you do the right thing, you go to school. I got hit with student loans. I paid mine down to $2,500. Do you know? And I'm going to tell you, do you know the interest rate? I had got sick, was on unemployment till it ran out. It was 3 years. I mean, I was dealing with major stuff. And I after that I ended up going back to work, security, because it wasn't much I could do at the time. But I paid my bills, okay? When I tell you the thought of getting on the system, I went to apply, I had some children. They turned around and sent me a check for $1, and believe it's 37 cents. I'm gonna find that check. Because I didn't even cash it. I was so outdone. They was all in my business. I mean, things that shouldn't even been relevant was relevant. Um, I couldn't get, you know, I guess it was food stamps. I mean, they denied me for everything. I was in school. I was going to work. I had children. Husband had a mental breakdown. He was okay. Basically, cook wasn't a help with the bills. And people say, well, it was just your turn to pour in. I worked all my life. It wasn't just my time. I just had to give in more at that season of our life because he wasn't capable. Was I upset? No. But then when I got sick and things went down, I was looking because they taking taxes to pay for this. I was looking for something to sustain me. And then I got to the point I said, well, why am I paying into a system that don't have nothing for me? Why am I doing this? Okay, everything was high. I mean, I tell people, no, I had bought a home. The mortgage wasn't too bad. It was like $500-$600, but and I was doing it through a private owner, so I wasn't dealing with fixed rates and variable rates and stuff because what I heard about it was terrible. Okay, but what I was dealing with was, as working, you got to have life insurance, health insurance, car insurance, and I was living in Michigan. And did anybody know anything about Michigan insurance? They will know you pay like your down payment is like almost $1,000. It's like $700. Back then it was like six, and your premiums you be paying like $300 plus. This is back then when I was like a young adult, and the minimum wage then was like $3.30, 35 cents, and it went to $5.15. Let me tell you, that was what you was paying out. So most of us was working two jobs. I got me a vehicle from the car auction, and I think I paid like $1,200, but I have been saving up for this since I was probably about 14, literally. And I got the vehicle and getting the insurance, and you have the house, I was getting my mortgage paid, but I couldn't get no assistance in my time of need. And then the high insurance, I said, well, where do it end? Because I had like $100 or $150 left after I was paying insurance, the children's insurance, the car insurance, housing insurance, health insurance, because I didn't qualify for nothing in their mind. And I was struggling. And then I'm going to school. Then I start doing the security job. You talking about a woman under 25. You talking about being traumatized. But then I had a gift. I started doing hair and I was making some money on the side. That was traumatized with living and discouraged. And I see people just give birth to a child and they had a place, they had medical insurance, they had food stamps or debit card, EBT cards or whatever. And they living, and all they doing is sitting around chilling. And I wasn't an advocate for drugs. I didn't get high, but these people were sitting around chilling. And the thing what is, a lot of people that was working, and this really got to me, when the working class went to work certain times and different things, these people that was sitting on the system were the side chicks and the go-to girls and boys. And not only was the workers, people that was out here working, couldn't get nothing and didn't qualify nothing, but they was taking our checks and taking everything. We was being cheated on too. A lot of these people that's sitting at home, you wonder who these side chicks are. These women that don't have a job. These men that don't have jobs. Because they got the time. Because we was doing 8 or working overtime, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, had to have the side job, and all our money's being taken from us for other various reasons. And now today, and I was like, well, why do we got to pay for this? And how come, these people ain't required to work? Then they put an act in and say, oh, work 20 hours a week. Then and now it's like 30 hours a week. They say 20 hours or more. And these people are on a rant because they got to go out here and function. And even if you wasn't happy in your marriage, you had to stay in it to function, be able to carry yourself, provide for yourselves, because living was so expensive, you know. And then you had to give God the glory, because if not, you're going to be in all these little secret societies and groups where they, literally place you in things, and, but you find, this is a covenant with the devil. All these little witchcraft things, going on. And society was so strict then too. Okay. But these people getting all these food stamps, and most of them selling them, and they chilling. And I always ask my question, why do the government make good, hard-working people, especially single people, work so hard and take everything from us? People look and say, well, what did they take? Because everybody got to work. Well, when you're 18, 19, and I'm going to say 30, up to 30 years old, and you have to work 2 jobs, and you paying all this stuff, and you don't get sick, you just paying all this high health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, you're just existing. And when you have a moment to yourself, you get a second job, so those your days off is not really days off. And you're studying. So when you're not doing that and you're going to school, and it seems like all these forces are fighting you to go through school. Anybody who know what I'm talking about. When you go to school, the devil's so busy. And when I say all kind of crazy stuff happen to you, the witchcraft is real. And you're fasting and you're praying and you're taking care of your kids. And then they make a law. You can't discipline your children. And the children don't respect nobody. But we know today, these people that grew up, none of them function in society because they don't understand consequences. And they don't respect their parents, so they don't respect you either. And then they try to blame us for bad parenting. And I tell you, it wasn't us, it was the government. See, they spanked their children, and all children don't have to be spanked. Don't get me wrong. Because I was one of them children, you told me what to do, I did it. But then I know a whole lot of hard-attack kids, okay? And they're very challenging. And you're telling your child, go sit down. And you're basically pleading, would you please go sit down? And your children's, no! And where did they get it from? They went to school and seen their friends do it, and they come home and it's all this. The teacher's calling out to school, and if you have to go to the school, you don't get paid, and your boss want to fire you. Women, they don't want you to have day jobs, but you can't get nobody to babysit even at night. Okay, so if you can get some child care assistance, which I couldn't, I had to pay out my pocket. You wonder why the government hates you. And what did you do to be wrong? And you suffer it till your kids get grown. Then they tell you got to keep your kids in your house and they grown. Basically. And we were like, well, when is these children going to become adults? And then they're 25 years old before they're considered an adult. And you was pushed out practically as a teenager. And you looking at them like, how come life was never fair to me? How come living is not fair to the hardworking person? And you made all the right choices that kicked you in the face. Because then these student loans that people back in the day used to write off, after 7 years, they wrote off. You're paying these student loans and the interest rate is killing you. You can send in $200 a month and only $25 is going to your student loan. And so I'm still looking at these people. They had all these classes that these people on the state assistance can go to, and they can go to free. It was a mini course. Somehow they can get good jobs, but they wouldn't want to work. They worked 2 weeks and quit. They had every excuse the government made for them. So now they're asking them to function as an adult. Because I still don't know why a woman, if you can't take care of one child or two children, why do you have 7 and 8 and more? I don't get it. And then they have all these excuses. They don't even leave their home. They still got free daycare and and I'm like, they got some money on the side, and all of them is messing around with the women that have real solid relationship, working, going to school, and then they wonder why people that was in the working class grow up and be bitter. And I say they bitter because they did everything right and there was no reward. Y'all sat at home sleeping with everybody, man, bragging about it. And most good people, we be like, man, I'm doing everything right. And you underappreciate it. Then these men now, after they got through playing with these side chicks and made babies and they put them on child support. Because when I was coming up, you can put a man on child support. We never did get the money. Okay? We never did get the money. And they never did pay it. So now you looking at them, they getting the child support and they still have a reason to be on the system. They just now beginning to say something. These entitled people are saying, well, they cutting our food stamps. We get all of this money. And I still don't see why when they give a senior citizen $23 when they need the money and they're eating cat food. Okay, then they went to Potty's meat, but the cat food then was cheap. You can get it was 20 cans for $1. Back then when I was coming up, you can get 10 packs of Kraft macaroni and cheese. It was 15 boxes for $1. And you probably say, well, y'all should have been stocked up. No, we talking about people who have families, and I went in and applied, was at the poverty level, and you want to know what they gave me? They gave me a check for like $1.37 or $1.58. I just called them and said, well, you can just take me off. When they went to give me food stamps, they told me $13 a month. Now, $13 a month? And then every time I turned around, I had to keep leaving my job to go be there. You have an appointment. You got to bring in this paperwork. And I don't care if you bring all of it in. Somehow they always losing and you always got to do it and your boss is ready to terminate you. Child support, you got to keep going down there, but you won't have a home. Okay? Then the men get so exhausted and tired and they cheating. And you look at these entitled people today, and they wonder why we are applauding the government. We're thanking Trump. Thank you for dealing with this system from these fraudsters. You want to know why? Because our whole life was stripped from us. Then they want to raise the retirement age. We thank Trump. Thank you thus far for not changing it. But you got all these government officials, fraud and stealing and this and that, and live the life and have a pair and a spare in their relationships. But you did it right and you was hated, mistreated. And you still try to stand. But do you know minimum wage in Georgia? $7.25. It's jobs to pay $8 an hour here. They going up on people rent. You got to have 2 jobs. And nobody cares about the cost of living. Then they say if you're 50 and over, you don't have to worry. You can still receive your food stamps benefits if you're on the poverty level. They won't even tell you that you have a renewal and you have to bring in your paperwork or update things. They tell you don't have to worry about it. And then they'll turn you off. I done seen this a million times. So that don't even apply because you cut off. And you working. And you never have a break. And then you're dealing with grown children that's out here doing in and everything and crazy. And then they want you to raise, quote, quote, your grandchildren. Not me. I raised mine. They know. Okay. And I'm glad I raised them the way I was taught. as an Indian woman, it's not something for nothing. You go out here, put your time in. And I told my children, they're young, if you don't have a job when you get old, you won't be able to retire. You won't have nothing in Social Security. Then they met these people on the system, and they went from having children, and they strategically have their children. They have the three small when they're young. Then they wait 7 to 10 years later, have the next one. And then possibly another one 5 years from then. And then when they hit right before they hit a little bit after 38 or somewhere in there, or around that time, they have another baby. And you say, well, why are they having the baby? They've been struggling, they've been on a system. And by the time that child get grown, okay, they like in 58, 60, and then they had called themselves retiring early, okay, or go to work for 20 hours if they go to work. Because most of them then, they do all kind of stuff and they fake their disability. Because a lot of them, all you had to be is in the alphabet crew, and they gave you a check for and said you was mentally insane back then. Okay, they get checks for being quote quote homosexual. And you got men never had a job. If they did, was a short span, and then they lived the life, and some of them ain't even really that way, but they getting a check. Okay, and I know because a lot of my friends was in the alphabet crew, and I seen them do it. Then they put their children on and say all their kids is crazy when their children really just need some spanking, like go sit down somewhere, put on punishment. But you can't raise your voice to your child. You can't do that. That's corporal punishment. But they send them to boot camps and beat the crap out of them. Now I hear that a lot of these boot camps are banned because everybody know them children need a spanking. Okay, but then they want to take your children, or the children that's well behaved. But them real bad ones, and I seen this, okay, because I started doing child care work. The social worker came in and turned and said, first of all, we don't want them. My mouth dropped. She said, we don't want them. Don't nobody else want them. Give them back to the parents. They do everything. They bad. That's what the social worker told me. CPS workers was telling me that. But if your kids was well mannered, they took you through the system for no reason, took your children. You denied any help from the system that you pay into. And now they asking these people to work. And my whole question is, why are you mad? But these people that retired and got disability and never had a job. I literally watched almost 3 generations never have a job. They had low housing. Okay. Not only did they have full benefits, they had child care, and they was letting relatives watch their children, and they wasn't even working. Okay. I didn't get it. They worked 2 weeks, and then after that, it take them 6 months till they get their review before they get cut off of their child care benefits. I mean, I done seen it all. And not only did they have men living with them, they had extra boyfriends and stripping at the strip club, and it was everything. And they didn't have to pay nothing. They had medical, housing, all these Section 8 vouchers, and generations of their families own it. Could I get a voucher? No. Okay. I paid for my home. I bought it cheap. It was a fixer-upper from HUD, my first home. And I'm not upset about that. But when you're sick, you really do need a support system. They talk about, if you're 50, I tell people, first of all, and I know this for a fact because I used to work in HR. They come in, people 50 and above put in an application. Most of their applications is overlooked. They say no discrimination when you come in. And if they put you in a category of thinking you're that age, they don't want to hire you. Okay. Don't have a whole lot of experience in a certain area. They don't want to hire you because they're afraid they got to pay you. You know, and then they be like, well, you can't retire to this age, but they don't want to hire you. You know, and the government said it should be no discrimination. Just because the government say no discrimination don't mean it don't exist. Okay, and then when you young, they don't have nothing. They talking about, oh, the essay or harassment. Let me explain something to you about that. I worked as an officer, especially the detention officer. Do you know you are being harassed by your lieutenants, your captains, your sergeants? You are being harassed. And if you don't give in, you don't have a job. That's most of these places. So if you think you're going to have a successful career into these different fields like this, no, you're not. If you think you're going to get to a nice position in a job, I don't care, registered nurse, this, that, if they want to hire you. LPNs, they won't hire you most of the time. They don't even consider you. Okay? But you can go to school for this, but there's no jobs for you. If you don't have a master's in this, a bachelor's in being a registered, they don't want to hire you. And if you get a job in a nurse home, it's a charge nurse. Let me explain something to you. You're not going to get the money that you think you're going to get unless, and I'm going to tell you, they're going to basically ask you, it's going to be SA harassment. Okay? Don't let these jobs fool you. Most of them do not want to hire you. Content creators, there's a whole lot of content creators on here, but I'm going to tell you right now, and this, you got secret societies. If you don't join them, they don't want to monetize you. And I'm not blaming, saying this is something that What's a Face is doing, this social media site. What I am saying is a lot of you won't get monetized. I've been asked to be in some of these secret societies. Okay. I done seen some people, and you talking about positive, good content. I tell people, okay, I'm learning it because I'm new on social media. I'm a small content creator, but I keep it real. You got content creators that lie about everything, but monetize. Okay, give horrible advice, and was getting food stamps and this and that. Let me explain something to you. And people are like, oh no, that wasn't real. Yes, it was real. Because I know some. Okay? I don't know how they nuked or fooled the system, these fraudsters. But they take all this money out of our paycheck, the working class, especially the ones that's impoverished. Because you have to do, if you want to keep your marriage, this, and this, a lot of the stuff that they require on these jobs that they keep secret. And if you open your mouth while you're working for them, you don't have a job. And don't think it's because you're a female that you work for a female, you safe. They have so much going on. They's alphabet crew is worse than the rest of them. And these people be married. They don't care. And then you wonder what's going on. And you talk to people, well, when I was young, they had GA. You could be a single person, you was getting a check in bridge card, food stamps, whatever. You was getting it. So my whole thing is, why are these people so mad because they have to function like an adult? When all the rest of us had to function as an adult. These men, oh, they finally seeing, they picking 304s because good women wasn't going out getting BBLs because we couldn't afford it. Not that I wanted a BBL because I think it looks stupid. Okay. Some cultures, yeah, I admit some of them look good in their clothes. But guess what? Everybody's not built like a horse in the back. Okay. And we still look good. And trust me, I know because I never have no problem. You know, and I just tell people, all of us can't get plastic surgery. Some of us may have it, but then as you get older or you have a baby, it may drop down to I'm going to say to Florida, okay? Like you living up north, but that part goes all the way down to Florida. Okay? And they looking at you and they putting you down, and the men want to hate these girls. Yeah, they put $2, $3, $4, $500 weaves on their head, and people say, "Well, yeah, you got a weave now." Yeah, but my hair is long, and I guess what? Even when it was short, I was cute. I handle my business. I'm not gonna give nobody that kind of money. Trust me, I'm not. I wear my real hair, and then I go get the old school wig, keep it as cute, go to work, look professional, and let it go. Now, my job, we all, I make time content and be like the nurse, you know, with the bonnet. Okay? Because when you serving food and stuff, they say hair nets, but now they want you to have more than hair nets. So they said I would approve the bonnet. Even at Waffle House, they approved the bonnet that you can wear, so you won't get food in people's food, get hair in people's food. So outside of that, I just tell people, look, it's a lot of things you'd be like, well, you doing medical care, why do you got to wear a bonnet even if you don't serve food? Because a lot of times you get ready to wash these people clients up. Okay, I'm giving you certain positions. You washing them up. Your hair is getting in the way. It's getting on them. It's dropping on their bed. Okay, everybody don't shampoo their hair. Okay, you trying to wash them up. Your hair is hanging in their face. Some people, we have long hair. Okay, even though they tell nurses tied up, but it's a lot of fields that when you're doing medical procedures, your hair will get in the way. It's unsanitary. That's why they do it. Okay. There used to be a day you had the nurse's hat and you had to put your hair in a bun. I'm telling you what I know, what I did. So me putting on the bonnet is thank you. I can have my hair did, be ready to go out. If I up under it, I can still keep the rollers in my hair if I want to. I'm in the bonnet. Okay. But this is not just a rant. This is a look at society. Because when you think about us, and I'm not quite 50, but when you think about us, you think about how abused our generation is. And I'm going to say from 65 to the people that's probably about 40, we was abused. The workers, we was abused. I feel, talking about reparations, I feel we deserve reparations because they took our money to take care of Miss Lazy, Mr. Lazy. I know this man, he sit there and told me he had 37 children, never paid child support, and never had a job. I know for a fact I got relatives who never had a job. And yeah, they still in our age group, but I'm talking about reparation for the people that worked all their life, got educated. The Department of Education, they ripped us off. When you graduated from school, they didn't have no job placement. I finished the school at a community college, and I'm not gonna mention their name. They get me a job as to be a security guard, not the field I went to school in. Okay. And I just look at people. You have all these self-entitled people. And they still telling people, 6-year-olds, 70-year-olds, they trying to be content creators, a lot of them, because they need the money. They have a lot of wisdom to offer, too. And they can't get a bridge card, EBD card, food stamp. They can't get none of this stuff. And if you wonder why, and they looking at you like, because one guy said, I'm just tired. I'm with him. I'm so tired. Working 2 jobs all my life. I just stopped working 2 jobs probably 5 months ago. And I'm telling you, this is my whole life. Okay. And then you got people want to hustle your pocket and play on you. Everybody, and I had to tell people, I don't care how many kids you have. You had them kids, you figure it out. You told the man, I don't need you, and I made a video. Yes, you do need him, because I'm tired of taking care of you and your children. And then you go out and spend money. You got a basket full of junk food, and I have to pray if I can buy me a bag of chips. working. So this is, I'm going to end this video right here. I'm going to say like, subscribe, share the video. I'm looking for people, especially small content creators that's getting up here being real. I'm not supporting a lot of foolishness. You know, I tell them if we can get a break and hear them get, but most of these people that's on YouTube, they only want to, they'll watch a video and won't even hit the like button. What do that charge? What do that cost them? But anyhow, I really want to be a content creator because I enjoy what I do. I have a lot to teach. So I'm going to say like, hit the subscribe button, share, and y'all be blessed. I'm that girl goddess. This is Dimensions of Christ. I have a second YouTube page and I'll be posting on that one too. But y'all have a great day. Bye.